Hi everyone, this is Leah and welcome to Full Fabric. This is a video and introduction to Full Fabric, your all-in-one platform for recruitment, admissions, and student management. So let's start. The first thing you need to focus your attention to is the inbox. The inbox is your one-stop shop where you can go and see all the activities in Full Fabric, from new emails, tasks, events, applications, and new form submissions. On this page, you will have access to everything that has happened, and you can also manage all the information from here. And this is the place that you should make a habit to go and start your day from. The next step in terms of the menu on the left-hand side is the Programs area. On the Programs area, you have access to a list of all the programs that you have available in Full Fabric. If you click over any of the programs, you'll have an additional column where you can see the classes for that specific program. Also on this area, you can use the stars to highlight any of the programs and make them your favorite. This allows you to put at the top of the list the programs that you will be managing more often. From this area, you will also have access to Subjects tab. The Subjects tab is an area that, as the Programs section, will allow you to see a list of all the subjects offered, and by clicking over each of the pages, you will have access to the list of the course offered for each subject. The next option in terms of the menu is the Applications area. The application area, as it says, is a list of the offered application templates that you have available in Full Fabric. And on this page, you will also have access to an Evaluations tab. We'll go into more detail in a second to each of these areas. Then, the next option on the menu is the Academics. On Academics, you have access to 3 subsections: Calendar, Lecturers, and Lecturer Costs. Then, you have the Industry. The Industry is a database for your organizations and for your contacts. We'll go also into more detail on this area. Then, you have the option for Apps. Apps are a few different tools that you have available to communicate and engage with your leads, with your students, with your alumni, and even with your contacts at organizations. We'll also go into detail on these areas in a second. And then lastly, you have Analytics. Analytics is a really good area for you to look at some reports to understand the performance of your different classes, and for you to also understand if you are converting leads into applicants and applicants into enrolled students. So let's go back to the top of the list. Let's start with the Programs option. On the Programs option, you have access to a list of all the different programs available in Full Fabric, and by clicking over the name of the program, you'll also be able to see the different intakes available. There are 5 different stages available on the Intakes column. First, New, Open Applications, Closed Applications, In Progress, and Done. When classes are in the status New, they will not be available to candidates. Open applications and closed applications allow you to receive applications from candidates. The In Progress status allows you to see applicants that are currently studying at your school, and the Done status will be intakes where applicants and students have already graduated. So let's look into detail to a specific class. On the class overview, you can see a list of all the profiles tied to this program, and in specific to this intake. On this page, you will see what we call the life cycle funnel. It's the different statuses of the program and also of the profiles that will go through your funnel until the moment that they become students, and then they graduate to become alumni. On this page, you can click over any of these statuses to filter your current list of profiles. You can also select the different columns of information that you want to have access on this page, such as name, gender, date of birth, and so on. You can also use the last touch point that allows you to understand if your team has been in contact with these profiles, and also keep track of when is the next time you need to follow up with them. Additionally, you can add different sorts of filters, such as nationality, gender. You can use these different filters to drill down the list that you have available and see how many people actually match those filters. If you see that this report is something that you're going to use regularly, you can create it as a saved view. A saved view is a report that you can create and you can reuse later on, and you can also share it with different team members. If you choose the option private, it will only be accessible to yourself. If you choose the option teams, you can select a specific team to give them also access to your report and click on Save View. And as you can see, the report will be automatically saved in the system and you can come back to it whenever necessary. Also on the class overview page, you have access to different tabs of information. The first tab, Conversion, allows you to have access to a conversion rate from leads to started applicants, from started applicants to submitted, and so on. You can select the different statuses in the system and understand if you're actually converting leads into enrolled students or if you need to still work in terms of the performance of the specific class. Additionally, you'll also have access to an All Applications tab. The All Applications allows you to see a page where you have a list of all the profiles that have either a started or submitted applicant status. This excludes all profiles that are tied to this class but still don't have started or submitted an application. From this area, you can also do some sort of bulk actions. You can export a list of all the applications from Full Fabric. You can also access individually each application of a profile. If we go back to the All Profiles page, you can also see that you'll have access to a different list of bulk actions, such as updating the state and substate of a list of profiles, withdrawing them, or assigning them to a specific owner, but also importing a list of profiles into Full Fabric through a CSV file. The next option that we need to take into consideration is applications. Applications is a list of all the different applications that you have created in Full Fabric. On the application overview page, you can see that you have a similar view. It's a list of profiles that have either a started or submitted application. By clicking over one of these options, you will automatically filter the list to only view either started or submitted applicants. Likewise, you also have access to an area where you can select the different sorts of columns of information that you want to see. Once again, this is very similar to the class overview. The big difference between the class overview and the application overview is that on the application overview, you actually have a list of the different fields of an application. So you can come and you can select information that is specific to this application form and visualize it directly on this list. And eventually, if necessary, you can also export this information from the system. The next option available is Academics. Academics is divided into 3 different sections. The first section, the calendar, is a list of the different courses and programs that you offer, and where you have access to a list of a calendar with different sorts of sessions for the different courses and programs. From this area, you can filter the list of courses by the different programs and the different intakes. Let's filter this list by a specific program, selecting MSc in Finance and Accounting. We see the list of the courses available specifically for this program. You can also see on the right-hand side the different classes and sessions scheduled for this specific program. From this area, you can access the list of the courses and see all the details of a specific course. The Details tabs of a course provides you some of the generic information of a course, the start date and the end date, and any specific information such as lecturers or guest lecturers. From here, you can also make available syllabus to students, and you can also create different sessions for this specific course. You can see here the list of the existing sessions, and through this area, you can either add a new session or duplicate an existing one and just adjust the start and the end date for that specific session. The next option available is assignments. Assignments allow you to create group or individual assignments where students can then submit work, and they can also make this available to lecturers. The next option is resources. Resources allows you to either upload a file or add a link, and these resources can then be made available to students whenever necessary. The next option is register. Register allows you to register students for this specific course. In this case, you can either register students in bulk or individually. The next option is attendance. The attendance allows lecturers to mark attendance of students as the sessions take place, and also, if necessary, download a list of the existing students for that specific course or session. The last option is grades. The grades section allows you to create a specific grade setup, and in this case, you can also create several partial grades in the system. The system allows you to create several different components in terms of grades, and from here, you can then define those grades and make them available to students when you're ready. The next option in academics is lecturers. The lecturers option and lecturer page is nothing more than a list of the different lecturers that will have access to Full Fabric, and you can manage this list on your side through this area. Also in academics, you have access to what we call lecture costs. Lecture costs allow you to track and manage the different sessions that will take place and allocate expenses to lecturers and any sort of fees that you need to approve through Full Fabric, and also eventually interconnect this with your accounting system. Let's go to the next option, that is industry. Industry is a database of organizations and contacts. The organization is a list of different sorts of organizations, companies, universities, and other sorts of institutions that you might work with. You can keep track of organizations and their details, such as the industry that they belong to, and any other sort of information necessary. All these fields are also customizable to your requirements. Within an organization, you'll have access to a Contacts tab. The Contacts tab will be the main people of contact with whom you will reach out and will engage at an organization. Here, you can have multiple contacts in the system and even use Full Fabric to email and communicate with them. The Community tab of an organization allows you to identify if any of your applicants have ever worked at any of these organizations. Then, under the Industry tab, you also have access to the contacts. That is nothing more than an entire master list of all the contacts that exist in the system and that you can engage and interact with. The next option is apps. Apps allow you to communicate and engage with students, alumni, leads, but also contacts. Campaigns is a bulk messaging functionality that allows you to reach out to multiple profiles at the same time and allows you to also keep track of the performance of your campaigns. When you create a campaign, you just need to set up a message that will be the content of your communication, and you can also define the audience. That will be the people who you need to reach out to. Once you dispatch a campaign, it will be possible for you to understand the performance of a specific campaign. How many people opened your campaign? How many people clicked on your campaign? Under Apps, we also have the Events functionality. Through an event landing page, you will be able to create a registration where people interested in your events can register for your event, and you can also mark their attendance. This allows you to later on understand how your events are performing and if these events should take place again or not. Going back to apps, the third option we have available is Forms. Forms allow you to capture information at different points of the candidate journey and also provide candidates different sorts of information. For instance, a form can be used for a brochure download, but it can also be used as a newsletter subscription. Candidates, leads, students, and alumni can fill in these forms, and this will allow you to not only capture their information, but also later on communicate with them as follow-ups and as additional automations and engagements. Under Apps, you also have access to the portal. The portal is your application portal, what we call the Student Hub. It allows you to create different sorts of content pages for different moments of a candidate journey. For instance, you can have available a Welcome to the Student Hub page that is accessible to any candidate. But you can also have access to program-specific pages that provide them specific information about a certain program you have to offer. The last option available is Analytics. Under the Analytics menu, you have access to several different reports that allow you to understand how you are performing and also what are the different sorts of actions that you need to take in order to improve your performance. As I mentioned, this area allows you to keep track not only in terms of the conversion, but also in terms of the performance, for instance, of some of your campaigns. Now, let's focus our attention to the top bar of your portal. You can use the search bar not only to search for information about profiles, but you can also use it to search information such as events, forms, or even programs. Also on the top bar, you have access to an area where you can create new profiles manually. The first name, last name, and email address are requirements in terms of creating a new profile and also collecting their consent in terms of GDPR. Besides that, you can add additional information such as tying them to a specific program, and that's it in terms of creating a profile from scratch. The last option available on the top bar is the General Settings. The General Settings, there are two areas that you need to focus your attention on. Shared email templates allow you to create a master list of templates that can be used in different moments and different areas of Full Fabric. The email templates allow you not only to save time, but also to customize and brand all your different sorts of communication with your school colors, logos, and images. These email templates allow you to communicate with candidates one-to-one, but also to communicate in bulk, for example, using the campaigns functionality. The next option in terms of the general settings is the shared segments. Shared segments are similar to saved views. They allow you to filter and to create different sorts of rules in the system that will then return you a list of profiles that match those rules. One of the most common segment rule is the is-a rule. It allows you to filter profiles by the specific state that they are in the system. But you also have another rule called is-in. The is-in rule allows you to filter a list of profiles by the program or the course that they are tied to. These two rules are the main rules to be used in Full Fabric. Besides the is-in and is-a rule, you have other several rules that can be used, such as nationality, gender, but also information such as if someone has registered for an event or submitted a specific form. And so this brings us to the end of our session. Before we end this session, there are a few things to take into mind. First, you can reach out to us through the chat functionality available at the bottom right-hand side of your account. You can search by the different articles available on our Help Center, but also contact our team whenever necessary through the chat or by email or by phone. Also, to keep in mind that if you want to know more information about Full Fabric, about all our new updates and developments, you can access our What's New page, available and updated every month. Additionally, you will also have access to a support portal with several articles about Full Fabric. Thank you for watching and see you at the next time.